course, Orianna also a good pick against Soraka in general in the matchup, although these guys could play the matchup differently. The ban does come through onto Soraka, so now a lot of opportunities there. You can grab the Lucian, of course, we talked about LMQ being comfortable with something else.
I was going to say, Nidalee is definitely the highest priority. As soon as those two are off the table,
yeah,
very, very big priority on Nidalee. Both of these guys love playing Nidalee, and Xiao is going to be the one awarded that honor.
No, it's interesting too because of the champion pool that was available in the first 2 games. Oh yeah, well, Soraka versus Ori, Soraka versus Ori. It didn't even get considered here, but with those removed, they go immediately 1 step down. Nidalee the first pick here. My initial thought is like maybe Lucian Elise, but C9T have to say, okay, well shoot, you know, we banned 2 mid laners, but they still got another great one. And now Bishu's down to like champion number 5.
Yeah, but you don't have to pick a mid lane champion right now. I think you're going to try and grab 2. Those 2 that you mentioned were pretty good ideas because they really do need Kez to be on a strong champion. He didn't look like he was going to have much impact last game, and then towards that late game, he was actually a liability, getting caught out with that mobility boost in Xiao, very low defense stats. He was taken out of the fights very, very early.
Well, C9T taking their time with this one, though. I don't know if they expected the Nidalee to get picked up this early, though, because normally when a team like knows and they like, yeah, we picked the pick, the picks come through fast. You get like 10 seconds, they lock him in oftentimes.
They definitely slow down a lot towards the end of series, especially long series like this, because they're very, very reactive.
Well, Eve Morgana actually is the grab. Both these teams have been prioritizing Morgana early in the series, in their picks and bans, and saying that this is the support we actually want to grab, even with everything else on the table.
Yeah, that is interesting. Something that Hai pointed out too. I have to talk to him a little bit more about that one. Didn't seem like he was quite sure as to why they put such a high priority on Morgana support.
Where's Lemonation when you need him? You just start reading out from the notebook, like the Morgana support is good again, and like picks the 7 matchups you want it for. But Evelyn does come through for Kez. That is a champion commonly banned against him. So he's gonna get this one for himself. Thresh Renekton the hovers right now on LMQ. They're kind of just grabbing different lanes, getting the best ones they can.
So one of the possibilities for Cloud9 Tempest with the early Morgana pick is they can put a lot of their emphasis on Altec like they like to do. If Bishu uses like a Lulu mid, Soraka is banned out, but he could easily go with the Lulu mid. And then again, they still have 2 shields. They've got speed buffs. They've got everything they need to juice up Altec in the late game and keep him ahead. Lulu, though, is not going to be an option because it was just locked in.
Yeah, I was wondering if LMQ is going to do that, if they're going to play support Lulu. We see it once in a while, right? And because Cloud9 didn't grab a mid laner, yet another one removed away, the flex pick working now. This will make it an interesting matchup, though. Lulu versus Morgana bottom lane is an uncommon matchup. But I think that was a smart choice by LMQ. They still have yet to show their junglers, have yet to show their AD carry, which gives C9T a little bit of moves, but Bishu, again, losing another mid lane pick out at number 6.
Definitely a strong steal away there for LMQ. Doesn't really matter as far as the support duo is concerned. Lulu's fine against Morgana. Likewise, they're just going to have to be having Vasily watch out as long as he doesn't get hit with a binding. And then he'll be able to avoid that burst from Corki early. This is the champion, though, that Altec went crazy on last series.
Yeah, they kind of relied on him to be a big split push. Like, it's not like Corki's a good split pusher. He has no attack speed buff, so he kills turrets rather slowly.
Yeah.
But he just kills waves so fast, he can get back around the map with the Triforce move speed. So, Corki Morgana, a lot of heavy push right there, a lot of poke as well. If you land a binding, you can hit confirm a lot of spells. And then Syndra mid to try to fight Nidalee.
Yeah, the other thing, though, about this Cloud9 team that they've got locking in that Corki, they're very magic damage heavy. Evelyn is hybrid. She does decent attack damage towards the mid game, but she does build mostly tank towards the end. So there's a lot of magic damage for this Cloud9 team, and LMQ will be able to prioritize magic resist in their builds.
And you're going to see the last few picks to come through. Vasily will get Lucian. For the first time in the series, the jungle Lee Sin for No Name, the most likely grab here. As we wait out the last few seconds, top lane Renekton, of course, still there for Aquaman to be happy to play that one. So C9T need a physical damage top lane to go for Jax with that one.
More hybrid, so a lot of mixed damage.
Yeah.
Just because all 3 of those are mixed, I feel like it's kind of balanced out now.
I think you have enough to where, like, if you don't buy Randuins, you will have a hard time.
Yeah, I think the Cloud9 team looks pretty solid now since they got mostly damage, but they won't have super tanks. It takes a while for Eve to start switching over. She starts out as pure damage assassin.
True.
Lizard Elder into a Hex Drinker. Same thing with Jax. He usually gets at least one offensive item first. Trinity Force usually play the Rune King as well. So starting out with 2 offensive items, it's going to take a long time for them to build defense stats. So when you do that, it's fine, but you just have to rely on your positioning and the timing of your engages. Every second counts when you don't have a solid tank like that. Meanwhile, LMQ can again rely on Ackerman to be that solid tank for them. And I feel like LMQ's team just seems more comfortable.
I think it does too. They're all in champions. They completely know how to play. We've seen probably this exact comp multiple times before from these guys. They're happy to play comfort picks all the time. The other thought as well is, it's always the question, how much engage do you have versus the poke, versus the Nidalee Lucian combo here? You've even got Lulu in the backlines to help out with Whimsy, and you've got Jax. We can see it work, especially teleport Jax flanking in, jumping in, Counter-Strike, that can work out.
Yeah.
Jungle Evelyn, you can flank and make the fight start, but again, that can be very difficult. Syndra, not really an engaged champion. Morgana, not really an engaged champion there. So, starting the fights, it's going to require some skill shots or some good flanking from C9T.
That has been the general trend of a lot of the team compositions in this new patch.
Yeah.
People rely very heavily on vision control to start their team fights off. Whether it is through the picks, whether it is through the teleports and the flanking, it's pretty much all about who gets control of the jungles early, because that's the team that gets to set up their vision, and that's the team that gets more picks eventually because of that vision.
Yeah. We'll see if they do it then, of course. We know Jungle Lee Sin to be a champion who likes to pick up a Sight Stone. Maybe LMQ just holds vision control the entire time throughout. Think about the mid lane matchup where Xiao is going to farm all the time. High tool Bishu, get ward coverage. Use his farm to get better vision on the map. Make some roams happen. See if that happens for C9T.
And that being said, LMQ have 3 ways to reveal champions here. They've got Nidalee, Lulu, and Lee Sin, all of which can keep track of Evelyn. So they have quite a few options here. They can also look to get some deep wards down here. Both supports, once again, starting with that single ward. So you can ward one side, invade another. Neither of them have been placed yet there. Oh, we have the 1 defensive ward for the red side.
And the quick Dark Sphere comes out from Bishu saying, hey,
side.
I know you're going for my red. It's going to be the same invade, basically, for LMQ. Moore does get the ward down. Actually opens up Ruby Crystal. So a different opener here for Lulu. A lot of durability on him. Bishu shouldn't be too afraid of a catch, but yeah, could have maybe queued the brush and delayed some recalls. Who knows?
He's fine with hovering that close to a bush because it would just be maybe Glitter Lance and a bunch of damage that comes out.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to worry about bindings.
You not want to see a super mind game? Is you time an invade like this and say, okay, they're going to recall around 50 seconds. You keep your team around, you Dark Sphere when half of them are recalled. And you're like, 5v2, let's go. Just saying, it's a possibility.
How do you know that half of them are recalled, Freak?
Because you'll see them go up to the brush. You'll guess they're recalling. I mean, we've seen this invade 3 times now today, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know it's in the playbook, and you're like, if our level 1's good, we'll just try it.
Yeah, good luck.
I'm just saying.
Definitely takes some luck there for that one, but there is a lot of luck involved in these level 1s.
See?
Nowadays. So
roll the dice. Sometimes you get snake eyes.
Both of the wards here on Cloud9's side. Defensive ward for them, and then the offensive one for LMQ. Regardless, though, it will end up in an exchange. Top side of the map is going to be Cloud9 heavy here, since they're going to have not only the duo switch, but also both buffs on the top side. So that leaves LMQ to control the bottom side of the map here and make their answer. Yuzuki trying to double jungle. They may go for that 4-man level 2 tower shoving.
Yeah.
That we've seen from Complexity Black.
When we saw it from them, they would basically take the buff on that side and then either the other buff on the other, or if they're already on the correct side to 4-man dive, they just take 2 non-buff camps.
Yep, yeah, there they go.
Level 2 top lane. Renekton had to walk all the way across now, is now just joining No Name, and we're going to have very comparable 4v0s.
This does leave the mid fight here to themselves. So Bishu gets to do whatever he wants to Xiao. Should be able to take advantage of that Nidalee early, knowing that junglers will be in the side lanes. That being said, they haven't shown yet from LMQ.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit behind. Cloud9 Tempest, even though they're working on that defense turret, the one that has extra reduction, they definitely have the jump. It was a good 20 seconds even of extra damage from top laner and jungler.
So 3:10 into the game, top lane turret's gone, bottom lane turret just now started.
Whoa.
Ackerman, No Name, and more all gonna recall back. Vasily might not even get this turret for himself.
Vasily's probably going to be able to get the turret. He's also going to get solo experience in a lane. Very, very valuable this early on.
I feel like Yasuke could teleport right now and would get like the entire set of waves and stop the turret from going down.
It looks
but they
like
never saw him.
It's going to cost them 2 turrets though. They're sacrificing everything, and they come out 1 turret down here for LMQ. Vasily is going to have to make some pretty big plays.
There's a teleport.
He will have the advantage. Doesn't actually get it, you're right.
Wow, it's dangerously low though. LMQ can set up a trap for this whenever they want. Wards are all gone on the map, so we might see a Lee Sin flank at some point.
Now,
LMQ did counter jungle the walls up there.
They also, in the duels, if we do keep seeing continued duels between Vasily and Altek, Vasily will have a substantial advantage in that one.
Yeah, the lane got taxed so heavily by Kez in there. He was kind of one of the main wave clear forces. You see like way more CS on Evelyn. And yeah, we'll see how much that's going to hurt Altek throughout this game, but the extra turret gold will help. You see a 1,100 gold lead right now for C9T. And the lane's going to reset, but you're right. The question is, how well can this lane hold up with a low turret and a CS deficit?
Altek has also not gone back to purchase, so it's really just the experience discrepancy between the two. Large wave here. They should be able to farm it easily at their turret. So, we return to normal lanes after a 2-turret advantage to Cloud9 Tempest. The only person who's actually been able to take advantage of that gold, though, the global gold, has been really the jungler. We'll have to see what Kez can do with all of this money he's invested in Division. A lot of extra wards for him. We'll see if he can start making plays across the map. Evelyn definitely happy that it's returned to the standard lanes here, because Evelyn's going to be able to take advantage.
Yeah, but she's actually taken away golems right on top of a ward, and actually this bottom lane turret is low enough that it will be picked up here by the LMQ squad. When he's going to come through last, hit there by Vasily. Kaz actually was spotted not too long ago in the top lane. So, of course, the dual lane of LMQ knows they're safe, but now that time has gone on, Evelyn is back to an unknown quantity. Yasuke versus Ackerman, double Dorans versus just Dorans and a potion here. We'll see if that's going to help there. The stun coming through, stun coming back, though. Bit of a trade, but until Jax hit 6, he really can't push back on Renekton easily.
Well, this is a very dangerous lane for Ackerman, because even though it's back to standard lanes, he has 0 turrets to fall back on. Both of them were taken. If he wants to run back home, it's a long, long run, and Jax is very good at setting up ganks. See if he lands a counter-strike.
And the stun red buff is there for Kez. Ackerman does have flash. Flash used by Kez, though, as well. The stun comes across. Ackerman jumps the wall. Yasuke, though, is going to flash to chase one down. The leap strikes up right now. First blood comes through. 800 gold. 400 gold plus 200 for the assist. I don't know, 600 gold, whatever. C9T with the lead.
Now, I'm very interested to see which way that lane was pushing up top. I think it is pushing against Ackerman, so at least he doesn't have to worry about it being... Oh, no, it's not.
Barely pushing down.
It's dead. Oh, it's going to take a while for him to get back then. He's going to have to overextend once again. No matter how much ward coverage he even has, it's still really hard for him, because he would have to buy multiple pink wards to make sure he's safe.
The flank, though, No Name going to land the slow in a Glebe Glarboom. Morgana's going to flash away. Direct binding lands to No Name. He does not land the Q back. So the attempted push off the dead turret, not going to do too much but burn summoners.
Yeah, so the extended lane here for Cloud9 is a duo lane. Much safer for them to be up that far. Whereas Ackerman already bit the dust. Evelyn was able to claim the first blood. Next thing up for fighting here is going to be the dragon. Yuzuki has his teleport, so if he goes back to base and heal, this is a guaranteed dragon, as Renekton is going to have his hands full, wave shoving against his turret.
And I want to see how the AD carries end up progressing, because you've got the one turret lead is going to start meaning less and less, ultimately. You can't really consider too big of a global lead anymore for C9T.
Pink ward.
Through the pink ward.
Gonna see him.
He's going to kill it. It's a 130 gold swing, but actually gets protected there by Moore and Vasily. I feel like he can't do that for too long, though, with Bijou coming down to support that.
Looks like the early dragon is not enough for Cloud9 to make the call to have Yuzuki actually teleport down there. They played safe. They just want to give over the blue buff and return Jax to lane. The early dragons don't give that much of an advantage, and they take a lot of your health, a lot of your resources. Lose a lot of control of the map when you go for those extremely early if you don't have a really strong tank for the dragon.
Well, speaking of control of the map, though, Glebe is going to spot a second pink ward there on the tri-brush. LMQ have put 3 early pink wards down, 1 in the top lane by the blue buff and 2 in the bottom lane. to watch for Eve roams. 2 of these wards have already died. There's an extra 200 gold sort of punishment put on LMQ. They've stopped some ganks with it, but
it's that Evelyn tax, man.
Yep, it's the Eve tax.
The true sight vision. It's really hurting them. Not only did Ackerman die to the first gank, but he also had to buy that next pink ward. And there's no guarantee that pink ward sees Kez next time he goes top. There's a lot of other routes he could follow to try and return and punish Ackerman. That's why Ackerman's not staying up there. However, he does find the pixel ward bush for himself.
All right, that one did not last very long. So now we're 2-1 in pink ward deaths. So far, LMQ holding the deficit on that one, but we'll see how it continues on. Another stun's going to land towards Xiao, but with blue buff, she's going to be fairly safe on Nidalee. Still just trading fairly equal farm for these two.
The blue buff control is really important because I feel like that takes away a lot of the prospective dragon control from Cloud9, even though they're the ones with the top laner who has the teleport. A Nidalee with blue buff, even in a 4 vs 5, very annoying to deal with around the early dragons. If they try and force it, he can get a lot of free poke off.
Yeah, gotta watch out for that one for sure. Altec level 6 early BF sword, actually very similar items across the AD carries. Actually, yeah, longsword versus boots basically going to be an equal itemization gap here. Altec versus Vasily are going to be close together. 1,200, 1,300 gold for C9T. They're holding that basically off the first blood in the turret lead. That's basically where the gold lead is. The minions holding close to equal.
This is a risky gambit here from LMQ. They're going to try and take out the global at the source. If they are unsuccessful, then it's going to mean a dragon. If they are successful, then it's a huge advantage.
Well, big damage. Summoner heal burn. Vasily low on health puts the culling down, though. Is going to let him disengage. Huge damage goes back on the AD carry. Altec. More pain coming out from more. There comes Kez off in the back lines. Dives forward. They look for this Lulu, but she's going to disengage. Has flash and heal. They don't dive for it. C9T do burn 1 summoner for 2 summoners, actually.
The gank up top was unsuccessful. They were not able to kill Yuzuki. So he does have the teleport, and they can go for this dragon. They are going to force it. Might just be a trade. That turret is up top is very low.
Yeah, it looks like the bottom lane recalling anyway from LMQ, so Cloud9 Tempest not forced to TP to secure this. But it does mean dragon for top lane, outer turret, pretty equal gold, but it does help.
Xiao going to look for the God Spear. Ooh! He hit it!
Kez at like 5 HP. That was pretty nice right there. So LMQ
yeah, it doesn't get anything out of it, though.
Nope. He gets bragging rights. He has to get kicked away. No Name did just steal the red buff right now.
Jax needs to get up to that minion line. It's dying to the turret right now. He's trying to clear out red buff for his jungler, but losing substantial experience as he does so.
And the blue buffs have timed out in the mid lane as well, so now the mana game becomes a little bit tighter. You can see Xiao and Bishu both down to about 1/3. No Name having a very good game of counter jungling. He's level 8 right now. Finding a lot of things to do. Xiao going to take even more damage. They're keeping the heals going. He's summer healed early.
Yeah.
He was afraid of the Ignite burst all in.
Not very much mana on Bishu either, so there wouldn't have been a lot of follow-up damage besides the ulti. But yeah, quick fingers there for Xiao. Burns his summoner very fast. Now, it's very easy for Cloud9 to freeze this top lane now because the dragon's not on the field. So they're not losing out on threat of global gold elsewhere by trying to keep this wave as close to their territory as possible. Now, it's not a freeze, but he's not shoving it as quickly as he could. So that slow push he's looking for.
Yeah, there's nothing it's going to really culminate into. You can't really siege and hip turret this early.
He doesn't have vision, though. So even when you are sort of slowly pushing like that, you are vulnerable to the ganks, even in your own territory. Lee Sin heading up that way.
Yeah, so Altec pushed around a little bit in the bottom lane. No Name's waiting around, but
Glebe's going to run right into him.
Ooh, on top of a pink ward. Glebe Glabber doesn't know what's going on just yet. Spots the Lee Sin. No Name on the escape. Evelyn actually does spot a pink ward down in the LMQ blue buff. So that's going to be a quick 2 pink ward death, but Kez has to be
collapsing,
afraid.
But it could be a 4-man squad. C9 are out of position here.
Big damage into Xiao as well. Bishu going in for this one pretty hard. No Name shows up for this fight. You've got Ackerman as well. Kez gonna pop the ultimate. Here comes Morgana. No Name low, jumps the wall with flash. He's gonna be safe. Xiao is around. Quick slow landed. Gonna have more defending the team. No Name starts the recall, but comes back on this one. Blue buff now being invaded.
Oh,
C9.
very dangerous.
Well, they're trying for it anyway, though. Javelin's going to not quite land, but there's the Dark Binding. The pick up of the blue buff. Smite's going to come through. No Name goes down, actually. The kill picked up. Knock up now from Lulu. Bishu forced down. Ackerman, a big tank, finds the kill in the mid laner. Javelin's going to come by as well. Does not find Yasuki, who's going to run away with this stun available Still running though. Kez is around for the leap strike. It's going to have that one happen. Xiao though jumps through the brush to find more speed. Flashes actually misses the jump over the wall. Another javelin comes in.
Oh!
He walks into it, and it's another kill for LMQ.
Now, I'm pretty sure at the beginning of this fight that Bishu kills No Name with his own blue buff. Throws it on top of his head.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So the golem gets its vengeance there on LMQ. But eventually the fight does go in their favor. As I said, very dangerous jungle invade by Cloud9. And they're not able to escape on the exit path there. It actually ends up costing them another turret.
Gleeb's trying to buy some time for his team, though, but takes a javelin for his troubles. Bishu just sweeps the wards out, for the minions, I should say, and LMQ hold a 400 gold lead.
All right, so No Name's trying to finish off the golem, but he gets sucked away.
Wow.
What a play from Bishu there. Beautiful, even though he ends up going down in the end. Worth it. All right, Yuzuki eventually getting slowed as we see. Now, let's see, he flashes and then jumps crooked. So it was actually the jump that was a little off there.
Yeah.
But he makes it up for her with the beautiful spear.
Yeah, what a great prediction right there. As he walking into it, not reacting in time. So you can have a 1-0-1 Nidalee, 132 CS. And honestly, this is one of Xiao's comfort champions. It's Nidalee so strong overall. It's a cornerstone for his team. If they get ahead, the sieges with that champion are so effective. And LMQ now with, honestly, their first gold lead of the game.
Well, it's very generous to call this a gold lead. It's barely 100.
I'm technically right.
Okay.
It's the best kind of being right. Uh-oh. The gold lead disappeared. They're going to get it back soon. Tie game.
Dang it. All right. More duels going down bottom. Going on down bottom. I like the defensive pink wards, by the way, from LMQ. They have set up that outer defensive line. Bishu on the run. Can he escape the Lee Sin? No, he misses the stun.
The Q lands. Going to be not good for Bishu. Puts what damage down he can. There's the ulti buy as well, but the javelin from Xiao. Xiao takes it up. No Name lives with 300 health.
Yeah, and the heal.
Yep.
Big there. So, not able to land that stun. Goes down. And now it will be a collapse for LMQ. Every member here mid, they're looking to dive.
So they can find No Name push back around as well. There's more on the side lanes, taking a bit of pain. Stun comes through, big rocket coming in. Altek can't quite find the damage. Push back, Vasily on the chase, but there comes the rest of the damage. More does finally fall. Yazgi getting the kill credit. Ackerman on the chase though. Kez very low, one hit from dead. He will fall to Vasily. Now Yazgi's gonna jump back in, but he's gotta run away actually. The team is outnumbered. LMQ still on the chase. Javelin, this one does get dodged.
Successful dive from LMQ, and Cloud9 are having a hard time regrouping. You gotta be careful, they might lose this middle turret. That would be huge for them. Then they could start getting those, then they could start getting those green wards down in the camps that they really want. Well, they've actually already got a decent number of them. Good ward coverage up on the top side for LMQ. They can spot Evelyn when she farms those camps and know where she's heading towards next. Done a pretty good job of controlling her.
Yeah.
But again, gold even. It's all about that next dragon fight.
Yeah, and LMQ recalled right after that one. Instead of going for the mid turret and having low health bars and low mana bars, they recalled saying, we want to be healthy in time for the dragon fight.
They're prepping for it, but there's no teleport here. Yuzuki's got to walk his way all the way from base. LMQ do not know that, however. Wow, Cloud9 starting this one off very quickly. 4-man, and they're actually starting the dragon themselves. Early, no.
Yeah, they're going to back up for this one. Both teams missing a few ultimates, though. Kez and Gleb missing 2 from C9T, but the same, actually. The support and top laner of LMQ. We're going to see the dragon is now down to half HP.
Smite fight versus Lee Sin here. This is really dangerous.
And close javelin does get dodged away. The big burst coming in for Kez. Smite picked up for C9T. Ackerman low on health takes a big chunk of burst, but he's going to disengage pretty safely. Black jewelry burned as well. Rocket's coming by. No Name puts the shield on the teammate. Glebe forced to flash away. Kez is low as well. The re-engage the javelin. There comes the dive. No Name picks up 1. Will he lose his life? Yes, he will, but Yazgi falls 2 for 1. Now Bishu under fire. He's going to drop down rather quickly. Does get picked up there. 3 for 1 for Dragon.
3 for 1 for Dragon. Not worth it because they're going to lose control of the map. That will be a lot of damage on that mid tower if it doesn't actually go down. Ackerman going to try and clean up that wave down bottom before it does hit towards the inhibitor. Yeah, pretty big win there for LMQ. Nice area of effect damage. That one spear that he lands onto Glebe Glarbu here, and then the follow-up culling from Vasily, loses them this fight. Everyone's running away, grouped up, and Lee Sin able to get a perfect Lulu ult off, even though he goes down in the end. worthy sacrifice. Gets not only his Tempest slow, but also the slow from Lulu ultimate.
Yeah.
Great chase there from LMQ.
Greatly played. So +3 kills right now. Actually, they don't even get many turrets off that. Looks like mid lane still stands.
Yeah, they just got a little bit of damage there. Because Ackerman actually went bottom to farm that wave, and Xiao was down bottom farming his own wave. They were very, very split there. They're not in any rush to take that turret, it looks like. They do need to renew their ward coverage, though. It has lapsed on the Cloud9 jungle.
And so C9T right now are trying to hold on to wards themselves. You got a couple of pink wards, though, from LMQ, stabbing a little bit towards the right-hand side of the map near Dragon. Talking about Xiao, though, 4-0-3 on that first pick Nid. He's had such a phenomenal game. It's really showing why the champions feared. Even though they went for Orianna the first 2 games, 1 win, 1 loss, this champion right here is doing pretty well for him.
Yeah, you can say that. Banning away the Orianna, definitely not paying off here for Cloud9. They left the turret up, but they did not leave it up with very much life.
Yeah, this should be a pretty quick pick up there. Another turret going to go down. Kez pops the ulti, though, looking for a bit of an engage, honestly. Here we go. Stun lands on a 2. Xiao and more. The flash away from the support. Dark Binding will hit Lulu, though. Kez is there. Big Burst comes off, pops his ulti for it, but that's not going to matter much. We'll see if C9T can pick up more.
Silly joins the fight. It's 4-on-4 again. 4-on-5, I mean.
4-on-5, here we go. Kez in the front line takes a huge chunk of damage. Xiao disengages, and Kez falls. Altec on the chase. He finds the kill finally on the mid laner. 2-for-1 fight. Yazuki, Vasily trading blows right there. Down goes the mid laner of C9T. The stun comes up. Yazuki will trade one back, though. 3-2 on the fight. Ackerman can't find much else. C9T with a small lead, but they lose the turret.
Good eye there from Cloud9. They see Vasily split. They go for the engage, and man, they land some good skill shot CCs there. Glebe comes up very big with the binding, guaranteeing them the kill and the 4 versus 5 fight. So it starts off with the Syndra stun onto 2, and then they follow it up. Glebe able to hit that binding pretty easily onto Moore. He's up against the wall, so that's always very nice to line up your skill shots with. Then the initiation here from LMQ on the 4 versus 5 fight. They actually get caught up by another Syndra stun, and it splits. So Vasily goes on his one-man Rambo mission up towards the top, and he gets his target, but he goes down in exchange.
Yeah. So that was ultimately the turrets being traded in a +1 kill for Cloud9 Tempest. You're seeing the gold 100 apart.
Yeah, I love this matchup.
This game 3.
This Challenger Series matchup.
It's a fun final.
Is really, really fun. I like this this rivalry that's brewing between these guys.
Remember, we're going to have more games. It's a best of 5. We ain't even done yet.
Yeah, we started off the morning with a best of 5. It went the full length.
Yep.
Most of those were 50-plus minute games as well.
All right,
so
Kobe.
We're going long today.
Time for the repeat. I'm going to play up through Monday.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, here we go, guys.
These are definitely exciting ones. I'm very curious to see the game-to-game adaptation, too.
Yeah.
Because Cloud9, they're probably not going to just ban one mid laner again. They can see right now, Xiao is going to have a big impact on the game.
Yeah.
Whether he's on Orianna, whether he's on Nidalee.
Well, the slow land from Glebe. Missed the Dark Binding, though.
The slow dodge.
Yeah. His ulti was slightly down, so it's just now up and couldn't wait that long. LMQ collapsed down. They walk on top of a ward, though.
All right, split pushing Jax. They do, once again, have teleport advantage. That's something that's been very consistent in this matchup. Cloud9 opting with far more teleport, more globals than LMQ. LMQ almost always looking for those combat summoners, looking for the team fight power that they like to snowball from early. Mizuki gets bottom turret, but LMQ have position on mid.
Gonna be some damage going through. Glebe gonna take a bad pain. There's a knockup already. Ackerman just dives in for the fight. They find one already. Kez has nowhere to go as well. He's trying to survive, but he won't. The kick from
Teleported back from
Mizuki. The
Mizuki.
second kill. Will they get much more for this one? The ulti already popped by Bishu and doesn't do much. It's actually 3 kills picked up as Bishu also goes down. LMQ find a gigantic fight, and they've got control over mid.
They burned the teleport as well. Pretty much every advantage Cloud9 had used up in that team fight. And LMQ looked to march towards inhibitor turret.
The dodge comes in with a stun, lands from Ackerman. A big bunch of pain coming up on both sides. It's gonna be a 3-for-0 plus a tier 2 turret. All just for a bottom outer.
At the beginning, great flank there from Ackerman. Gets in perfect positioning. Him and Moore are able to wreck house. And then, even though Yazuki teleports in, way too late here. Everyone went down so fast. Global presence means nothing if LMQ get those types of initiations and they're able to execute quickly. That's why they favor the combat summoner heavy team Ackerman always liking to get that advantage, draw the teleports to himself, make you burn that teleport on something like a minion, on a ward, so it's a long cooldown, and he'll take advantage there.
And it worked really well. There's actually one thing I want to point out as well to talk about how well Xiao farms. 208 to 179 in minions. So C9T get a good dragon. That's going to put their gold back in a decent spot. But Bishu still is without a death cap, 23-45 into the game. That last fight, he tried to all-in Vasily and got him to 1/4 through a summoner heal. Nearly took out the AD carry, but got traded back on. Things like that, missing an item by a couple hundred gold because of a farm advantage, because of a couple of kills, or because of some globals, can turn fights like that.
Heartbreaking for Cloud9. But as you said, they were able to answer with a dragon and climb right back in there with the gold. Only 1K down now. Feral Flare also finally completed here for No Name. He did opt for the Feral Flare build on Lee Sin over the Blizzard Elder. So the investment finally paying off. 24 minutes in is a very slow Feral Flare upgrade, but that's to be expected with someone like Lee Sin. Looking for a lot more early game plays, not farming the jungle hard. Now he does get a huge boost in power, though. It has finally converted towards the mid game here, as especially they're going to be fighting over ward spots. He's got extra ones.
So let's see what they find with this one. Ward's under fire. C9T kill one. Their pink ward, though, going to be easily available. LMQ already has a pink ward on Baron itself.
Xiao still another step ahead with the item builds. Death cap is completed for Bishu, but already the Void Staff is completed for Xiao. So the spears are at their highest point of threat right now. 25 minutes in, he's got that trifecta completed.
Yeah.
Gonna be very, very difficult for Cloud9. If they can control a blue, that would be amazing for them. They would love to keep the blue buffs away from Xiao. However, it's very hard for them to go for that team fight and force it. They would need some sort of pick first. Spending a lot of money into the vision control here. They switched over to 3 sweepers and Spooky Ghosts. They do their part.
Twin Shadows, they're gonna slow down more. He's actually a bit alone. There's a weird rotation here.
Blue buff, they are gonna go for this blue buff.
Okay, this is the big fight. Xiao puts the javelin down. Kezo on the backside. A stun comes in. Xiao forced to jump away. Gets the Lulu ulti. That's Lulu, or ulti's burned now for the mid laner and support on opposite sides. This one, blue buff getting lower and lower. Kez taking a bit of pain though. The flash engage, the stun is massive, and down he goes. 1-0. LMQ just finding the fights every single time.
Yeah, they're baited in by the blue buff. Kez was trying to smite that one away, and he was not watching the threat. His position was right next to the tank there, and he gets burned down while he's trying to smite away the blue, deny it from Nidalee. Is a good idea for them to get it, but so risky to extend like that inside the jungle, and they pay for it really, really painfully here. Not only will they give up LMQ's blue buff, but it costs them their own as well. Wow. Devastating loss for Cloud9.
Great steal by No Name. LMQ are going to be ready.
Gate, that's a little close.
It'll take some damage, but it's worth it for 30 gold for the ward. Going to be okay in this one. Cloud9 Tempest trying to collapse back in. 1,600 gold deficit so far. Starting to slowly grow away from them. LMQ having a great job of this one. The mid game is working. They just bought Majai's on more, by the way. That's how confident he feels. What? Just wants more ability power.
This is a close game, man. It's still 1,000 away.
And AP scales well on Lulu.
He's picked up the, I guess this one's the man or book. Man, all right. Well, we'll see if he can keep himself from dying and make that mid-jais pay off.
He's only got 2 so far. See if he can keep it going. Spends 800 gold for the privilege of maybe stacking it up some more. Once he's at 5 stack, it's worth it.
I don't know. At this point, they need as much power as they can get to win the next team fight. And that's 800 gold that is not very cost efficient until you stack it up.
True.
However, it might not cost him anything. If they can win the next team fight, he'll get plenty of stacks off of it.
Kez forced to run bottom lane.
Whoa.
Tier 2 turret going down, but mid inhibitor turret already gone. It's going to be the jump in. Glebe taking a big burst of punishment, puts the heals on himself, pops the ulti as well. So him getting it locked up. We're going to have the rotation in from Jax towards the flank. Bishu is low. Ackerman taking a bunch of pain. Kez already lost his ultimate. There's the engage from Yasuke. He's going to be the kill onto Kez though. 1-0 so far. Will they find more? Looks like 2 kills, 3 kills. LMQ crushing the fight. 4 kills picked up. Glebe, the only one alive. He'll be going down not yet.
Whoa!
Vasily keeps himself alive in this one, but LMQ well in control of this game. Mid inhibitor going down. They've got a minion wave as well, and 15 seconds to close out the game. Nexus turret number 1, 28.5 minutes in. 17-7 the kill score. Nexus turret number 2 goes down, and the Nexus itself will follow. 2-1 in the series, and LMQ are 1 game away.
Another great game right there. Even though Cloud9 were able to keep the gold levels fairly similar, they were down in experience, and in game, they don't know that the gold levels are so close.
Yeah.
But LMQ see that they have this huge kill advantage, and that gives them the confidence to play like they're even further ahead.
True.
And that just playing like you're further ahead enables them to actually get the kill, and they just burn down that mid inhibitor turret and just rush Cloud9, and in the game, that Medjai's buy, that was it. That sealed the deal.
Didn't need it, but it worked out. And I gotta say, there were 2 picks that stood out to me as really awesome choices. So LMQ, first of all, with the extra mid lane bans, 3 of them. First pick Nidalee mid.
Yeah,
worked
of course, that one.
so well for Xiao Wei Xiao. Then second rotation grabbed Lulu support, which I liked for 2 reasons. One, it actually made the dives from Renekton so effective. You had Ackerman and No Name tag teaming in there. Lulu knock up for either one. Kept the front line tanky, even early game. I mean, that was a 28-minute game, and the tanks felt tanky in that game. So that was off the bat incredible.
Steal it away from Bishu.
Exactly, and that was the other reason why I liked it.
Bonus.
Yeah, and his Syndra never got off the ground. I mean, Syndra floats by default and never really got off the ground. That's how kind of kept down he was with this one. At one point was like 2-5-2 into the game, kept trying to all-in Vasily and couldn't. His burst was spent on a tank with a bunch of shields on him. It was like, well, we killed a frontliner, and then he would die to a javelin or to follow up from the Lucian or something like that. And so I didn't like that.
And Cloud9 actually banned out Soraka this time, too.
Yeah, they did.
They're that scared of the champion.
They tried to pinch an early game, or like early champ select picks, and couldn't make it work out here. So actually, we do have a replay, though. LMQ winning a 3-2 if you want to get that on your screen, because these fights were awesome overall.
All right, so, oh yeah, this was the double Syndra stuns that started this one out. That was actually the second one. Altec going super deep to get those doubles, by the way. And then, given Renekton the distance that he deserves, that was just the bottom side of the fight that we didn't get to see. Both AD carries went super deep that one, by the way. Vasily goes top super hard to try and get his target. Does find it, kills Bishu. Altec does the same thing down bottom. Both AD carries come up with the kills that they were looking for.
Yeah. One thing I was impressed with LMQ actually in general was how fast they focused an individual target. Kez would die so quickly in team fights once his ult was down, once the shield was gone. He kept dropping. Like the Hex Drinker buy to get some more damage, I feel like he should have even ditched that and just added more ruby crystals to his inventory, because he was able to get the ulti off, but then would drop right afterwards. His ganks unfortunately didn't work. All the early pink wards, remember the score at one point for Eve was 0, 3, and 4. He got a couple of ganks. He did get first blood. That was really smart. The early game moves worked out for the Evelynn, but then you just kind of didn't see it work anymore. LMQ, I thought, played defensively enough, and they capitalized off javelins really well. And their mid game, time and again, is so good.
Yeah, I think definitely the story here, don't let him have Nidalee either.
No.
They switched over and banned Orianna.
Yeah.
Didn't work out.
Seemed scary. I thought that was a pretty good performance. So guys, LMQ takes the lead now 2-1 in this best of 5, but up next, it's a possibly decisive game 4.
Possibly decisive. I like that. Good job,
Good
Riders.
at this, guys. LMQ